All right, guys, good morning. It's Thursday morning. We're going to start a review of Chapter 2. Going to need your calculator today. And first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and get circled up what we have going on today. We're going to be doing worksheets 1 through 4, the even. So let's go ahead and circle up just the even numbers to make sure that we do the correct problems here. I'm going to flip it over. Here on lesson 2, we're going to do 2 to 14 even, right? And make sure that we're all on the same page. Okay. Here on lesson 3, again, we're going to do 2 to 24 even. And I'm going to go ahead and circle these up. I just like to circle them so I know what I'm doing. Just takes a second so that we're all on the same page. And then finally, the last one that we're going to do tonight is lesson 4. Again, it's 2 to 26 even. Seems like a lot, but I'm going to give you a tremendous amount of time in class today. It's all calculator essentially. I'm going to go over a few problems on each question, and then you should be pretty comfortable. Okay, so we'll start with lesson 1. Let me get it situated. All right. Remember, we're going to go from a decimal to a fraction, okay, and then a fraction back to a decimal. Calculator will do it. So let's just go ahead and just get a quick recap. I'm going to do numbers 1 and 3 with you. Okay, so turn the calculator on. Let me get a light on for you here and make sure you can see there. All right, so if I go 5/10, I want to change that to a a fraction. I hit second N over D. I get the down arrow. I simp. And now we'll go down to 1/2. We always want to simplify. Let's go to the next one, which is 9/10. Some of you could tell me that is 9 over 10. Others need the calculator, which is fine. And you can see what I did, second N over D, and there it is. So that's what we're getting into there. If we pop down here, I'll do number 11 for you. Again, mixed fraction or mixed number to a decimal, no problem. So 7 N over D, 20 to the right. I've entered that fraction into my calculator. To change that to a decimal, I hit that, and there it is, 35 hundredths. So it's the same function on the calculator. It does two different operations. Okay, that's lesson 1. Let's pop to lesson 2. Now we're going to take a percent to a fraction and a fraction to a percent. Okay, we're going to do numbers 1 and let's do numbers 1 and 7 here. Okay, first one up is 60%. 60%. Now I want to change that to a fraction. So I'm going to hit second N over D. And when I do that, you're going to notice it pops right up with the down arrow. It tells me it needs simplified. I hit arrow simp, and I end up with 3/5. Okay, and I circle that. If I drop down to the next one, the fraction to a percent, no problem. I'm going to put 6 N over D, 10, and I go to the right to get out of that fraction function. Now, to change it to a percent, I'm going to hit second percent because I need that arrow percent signal right there. So second percent, and you notice arrow percent, you hit enter, and there it is, 60%. You're going to do that for this page. Okay, we have one word problem there. All right, let's continue our path of destruction here and go on to lesson 3. All right, so let me clear my calculator and get it cleared up. Now, express each percent as a decimal. It's really actually easier to do without a calculator here, but I'll show you both ways. Okay, to change a percent, make sure you can see that, to a decimal, we're going to move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So what that equals is 29 hundredths. And what we've done really is just divided it by 100. And to do that on the calculator, let me show you. 29%. I just typed in what I saw. And I'm going to change that to a decimal. So I hit second. Again, that N over D function is going to take it right to a fraction. But I don't want it as a fraction. I need it as a decimal. So I just do it again. See? And there it is, 29 hundredths. Okay? One more time. This is 4%. I move it to the left. That's 400ths. 1, 2, and I circle it. One more time, I'll show you here, 4%. And we're going to change it to a decimal. Hit second, bang, and down. Oh, that's my fraction. So if that happens, don't panic. Just do it again, and there it is, 400ths. Okay? Now, let's go the other way. Let's take the decimal to a percent. Okay, we've done this kind of already, but the decimal to a percent is real easy. Instead of going to the left, we're going to go to the right. So this actually equals 45%, you see, and that is moving it to the right or multiplying it by 100. If I wanted to use my calculator in this scenario, what I would do is hit 4500ths, and then I would hit second. And again, I want to change that to a percent. So percent, and there it is, 45%. So certainly the calculator will do it. It's kind of easier to do it without it. Okay. All right, let's move on to lesson 4. And really, these first 4 lessons were strictly calculator just to get you acclimated. These are percents greater than 100 and less than 1. Okay, so let's get after it. Write each percent as a decimal and as a mixed number or fraction. So they want two answers, okay? Now, when you get into these, you're probably going to say, hey, I'd rather use my calculator because I get a little bit confused, and that's fine. We can do that. But, again, the percent to a decimal is to the left. So that actually, and I'm going to do it over here so I don't use your reps, but that's 2 25 hundredths, right? So let me demonstrate that for you there. So we have 225%, and I want to change that to a decimal. And there it is. Oh, there's my fraction. I don't want it as a fraction. I just do that same exact operation, and there it is, 2 25 hundredths. Now, if I want to change that to the fraction, which I had first, I'm just going to do that again. I got kind of out of order there. And you'll notice it needs simplified with the down arrow, arrow simp, arrow simp. Okay, and there it ends up being 2 1/4. Right? Let's try that again. 300%, 2 to the right is 3. I'll demonstrate that on the calculator. 300%. If I want to change that to a decimal, well, there's my fraction. You didn't know that. If I did that again, there's my decimal. So let's talk about this one's kind of unique. When I moved this 2 to the right, I ended up with the number 3. 3 as a fraction is 3 over 1, and your calculator's just not putting it over 1. Okay? So we can pop down here, and we've done this, taken these. We're just going to deal with a couple percents that are greater than 100. So let's go ahead and enter this, 7 2/10, and let's change it to a percent, second percent. And there it is, 720%. So really all we did was move it 2 to the right, okay, or multiply it by 100. All right? So make sure you get these circled ones up. We're going to do the rest of the packet tomorrow, Friday. We do have a test Monday. And if you're at home and have any questions, shoot me an email.